All right, so this video is going to demonstrate how we quickly do this analysis. We automate it with text instead of all these numbers. So we're going to use some nested if functions. So the if function will test to see whether or not something is true. The and or functions will also be nested in here. So and will test to see if everything is true. If so, it returns back true, otherwise false. Or just sees if one of our arguments is true and then returns back true. If none are true, then returns back false. We're going to do this that way we can say good, okay, or bad. So it's going to be good if trend is going up and it beats the industry, bad if it doesn't do any of those, and okay if it does at least one. So we can just focus on the bad to see for the financial management of the company what we need to work on for the coming year. So here is the nested if function. So it's going to be equal if, parentheses. So we're first going to test for good. So we want and then we're going to say B5 divided by C5. We're going to test to see if that is greater than or equal to 1, meaning that it was better in the current year, comma. We will also then do B5 divided by D5, so comparing it to the industry, and we're going to do the same test. Is that greater than or equal to 1? So in the parentheses, comma, if that is true, that's good. If it's false, that means one of our tests failed. So we need to say, well, if that one of the tests is at least good, then okay. If both are bad, then it fails completely when we say bad. So the next thing we'll do a nested if statement again. So if, parentheses, or, parentheses, and then if you want, you can copy. So Control C with the keyboard and then Control V to paste those exact same in there, but it's just B5 over C5 greater than or equal 1, comma, B5 divided by D5 greater than or equal to 1. We'll end the parentheses. If that is true, quotes, okay, and then in that quote, and then comma, quote, bad. In the quote, into parentheses, and let's hit enter to see if it works. And we see that indeed it does, and you can check to see if it works. So it says okay, because in 2020 it's better than 2019, but it's not as good as the industry. We can then take this formula now, and I'm just going to drag it down and edit appropriately, and then correct a couple of things. So where obviously we don't have a ratio, we'll get rid of those. And then let's just make sure that our logic makes sense for everything involved. So a couple of these will need to be changed. So for example, for the leverage ratios, lower is better. So we need to flip these. So in each of these, instead of greater than, this needs to be less than in 4 cases. So we're changing greater than is less than 4 times. And then we'll drag that down for all the leverage ratios. We're also going to need to make the same change for the collection period. So I'm just going to copy this format, and for the average collection period, I'll paste over it. We're going to paste the formula, and you'll get a little green marker saying that it's different, which we know it's different, because remember earlier we talked about this would being the inverse. So you can see that overall for Elvis, they're in pretty bad shape from a ratio perspective for both not just what happened from the previous year, but also comparing it to the industry. Something you may want to do is our earlier discussion with Altman Z. See if you can determine how to create a nested if function to get textual ratio or z-score analysis for both public and private using the parameters noted earlier.